loves. How are you? Today, we're going to dive into those divine masculine, sacred masculine messages around how the sacred masculines are going through a process of releasing burdens that were never theirs to carry in the first place, and what's occurring as they're unraveling or having the realizations that it's time to unravel those burdens. As I sat down to do this, I just want to note that there was a definite significance in the difference energy and comparative to yesterday's sacred feminine energy. This feels much heavier and a bit slower. So I just wanted to acknowledge that it feels significant that it's representing the burden that they've been carrying that's been weighing them down and slowing them down. But even as I'm speaking this out loud with awareness, like that awareness and that acknowledgement for the masculines, especially those of you present here that are resonating with this, just acknowledging that they're there, even if you're uncertain of which ones are meant for you to carry and process and the ones that are not meant for you, you can simply set that intention to know the truth and surrender to your higher power and the guidance, asking for that truth to be shown to you and allow it to be revealed to you. Although, even as I'm speaking this, I feel like there's some of you present that are very aware of like 2 to 3 things right out of the gate that are not or no longer in alignment with you and where you're headed. It feels like maybe they were previous roles or energies you were engaged in that are no longer feeling aligned or supportive for you. I'm getting this vision, even as I'm saying this, where many masculines were in sort of a provider protector role. And I know this is a very masculine role, but this was a dynamic where the masculine is not receiving reciprocal energies in return, where it's more of an emptying, or the word that's coming to me is sort of like a sieve, where this masculine is just giving and giving and giving, and what's feeling like it's never quite good enough, or there's that essence of someone always needing him because they're unwell or unable or incapable, or so to speak. At least that's how they present themselves, these dynamics. And the messages that were coming through that are aligning with this right now is that as the masculines are healing or getting way more into their masculine healed states, they will be unraveling, if they haven't already, but no longer entertaining wounded feminine dynamics, where there are people that are overly depending on them in a way that is not actually reciprocal and or appropriate. We all deserve to have interdependent connections and exchanges, but I'm speaking to some very specific masculines that have been put into this role of feeling that they're needing to be the patriarch or the leader, but in a way where all of the others that are dependent on them to fulfill that role, I'm seeing that they're being depended on for multiple things, but in ways that are actually unnecessary, is what's coming through. I'm seeing and sensing that the people that are dependent on them are actually perfectly capable of embodying these abilities for themselves. And actually, the dynamic is weighing everyone down because the masculine is taking on what's so many roles that are not necessary for him to be doing on his own. In fact, it feels like it's not even appropriate because it's setting up, or did set up, a lot of codependency, and where he thought that he was being a hero or a provider or a protector, he was actually holding himself and everyone else depending on him back. And so now everything's sort of in a backlog. Okay. I know many of the masculines here have been already working on these, but I'm also sensing that there's something that is going to probably resonate within this, whether it's a dynamic at work. It's almost coming through like maybe you're ultimately doing 2 or 3 jobs for the pay of one job. There's something where your capabilities are massive. You have this ability to provide and protect and support many. And you've been doing it for so long, you haven't been realizing that you actually took on so much that was not yours. It's this energy and essence of just because you can do it doesn't mean it's yours to do. Many masculines would see something and feel that it was their duty to do it if they felt that they were capable of supporting or providing for that issue. But what happens when you're not asking if it's yours to do, you're taking on jobs that actually aren't yours and you are capable of doing the role, but it's not yours to do. So you're not actually capable of moving through it. And what I mean by that is if it's not yours to carry, you're not going to be able to solve it. So one of the things that you can do is to just ask to release, unravel, or clear any of those things that are not yours with love and with kindness and compassion. Hand those back to those who are meant to work through those. You can be there as a support, but you're not going to be able to do that for them. Okay. And this is now taking me a bit deeper into where the many masculines have found themselves in these roles of caretaking for feminines or providing for or over giving to feminines that are operating in some of the wounded feminine essences. And yes, it could be a partner, but it could be family, a mother, a sister, a daughter, a partner, a coworker. It could even be a masculine operating in wounded feminine energies. You see what I mean? But what was coming through was this dynamic of an energy of sort of like a helpless feminine essence that's always in need of the masculine to care for her, or there's something always wrong with her or going on with her that is actually creating this dynamic and is creating up a codependent role. For the feminines that are here watching this, for all my divine and sacred feminines that have been moving out of your previous roles, I know that many of you have been cleaning up some of these last bits of energy within your own system as they're coming up for you and your own dynamics with other feminines. But the feminine collective in general is moving out of clearing these codependent karmic patterns at a deeper level because she's been embodying so much into the new energies. She just really isn't entertaining or participating in those dynamics with wounded masculines or feminines anymore. And like I said in my Divine Feminine Surrender video back 6, 7 months ago, once the feminine has put down her karmic patterns, that is actually a heavy signal to the sacred divine masculine that he no longer has to mirror to her those karmic patterns, and that allows him to release his karmic patterns. And so this is being mirrored heavily. And like I said, the feminines have done a majority of her work on this, and the masculines are now realizing and being freed up to go into these in a much deeper way. Okay. And I'm going to pull some cards now to support this dynamic for the feminine or for the masculines. I apologize. And obviously, any feminines here watching, because I know there are some of you present for sure. And of course, always feel free to work with these for your own internal energies, regardless of how you identify. But this does feel like the overall masculine collective. Wow. Okay. We have the lightning card, which was what came into the feminine's message yesterday. You guys just saw me shuffling that. It fell out of the deck, it flew out. So, this to me is speaking about that clear, direct, shared space between the sacred masculine and sacred feminine collectives. This is the energy where the activation is taking place within both. Just like I said, as the feminine is preparing to move to her next levels, it is like a lightning bolt signaling to the masculines that he is now ready to open up and grow to his next levels. And a few, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but in one message I received, the tower card was like a lightning bolt coming down and opening up the earth. And that to me was signifying where the masculines are opening up to more and more of who they are as a result of the shared collective space. Okay, what else do we have with this? We have Jaguar, the Sorcerer, many paths. So as the masculines are acknowledging these shadow energies that they have been operating in, that they have been entertaining and navigating these energies that were actually draining them. The interesting part about this dynamic that fools and tricks many people is that they think that they're doing something good, giving of themselves and supporting those in need. But the shadow part of it is that if it's not actually life-giving and supportive for the person that's providing it, it's actually pulling you down into the energies where you're not belonging. This is why it's important for us to open up and pull ourselves up out of the shadows and into the light and into our own true alignment, so that then we can most certainly go into those energies and support others, but not in a way that is draining us, not in a way that is pulling from us and going out of harmony. This definitely connects with the feminine message from yesterday. I'm going to drop that in the pinned comment, where the feminines are, they've worked through a lot of this and they're very much more capable of operating in these shadow energies without them taking them down, because they have embodied so much into their true essence, and they're embodying into healthy boundaries and into what their standards are. They're able to be in these situations and no longer overgive in inappropriate ways. They are able to have compassion, but they also know when it is time to not participate and simply hold the state of compassion and thoughtfulness, but also let go and continue to move forward. And this is what the masculines are beginning to go into, coupled with the fact that their internal sorcerer, their internal magic, their internal high priest, their internal wisdom, their soul wisdom essence is being turned on and awakened through this process. And that's part of why they are realizing that they haven't been living up to their capability and potential. And this many path card is signaling to me exactly what they're experiencing. They've had this path that they've been on. They are realizing that it is not the path that they originally intended for themselves at a soul level. This light, this lightning bolt, is acting as a beacon to support them in aligning with their true higher timeline. But at this current moment, there's many paths for them to get there. But this is important because it's what it's showing me is it's sort of like all of those old paths that they're having to unravel so that they can realign with this true path. Okay. So this is going to take a little bit of time. But just like as the feminines know, it takes time. True change and transformation is a process. But this appears from the messages that we are receiving to be very much in process. And I have heard from some masculines that are confirming these energies within themselves and within their lives as well. So, for any of you masculines here and present, if you feel guided to share in the comments, we always appreciate that. If you do not want to speak so much, you can just give us a high five or whatever feels in alignment for you, a lightning bolt to sort of signify this transformation, whatever feels correct for you. All right, my loves. Okay, so let's see what the masculines, what support we can bring in, what they can expect, what we may witness, all of the above, whatever wants to come through. Ooh, quick. I'm noticing this rainbow. And we were talking about the rainbow ray, twin ray essences and energies. So, again, the masculines are also now bringing this in an entirely new way for me. I often talk about the twin ray essences of being the open chakras, moving from our higher power down into our connection to the earth in not just one color within each chakra, but all the colors flowing like a portal of openness. In the masculines, that was more of in like a vertical way. And now the masculines are acknowledging this energy and essence in the horizontal energies, which is gorgeous. I love it. So we got all the four directions coming in. And I love this even more because, wow, it's also bringing in the essence of understanding just how deeply the counterparts work together, but also how they're coming from their own perspective. And as long as one is working on their part, the other is working on theirs. And this is aligning to meet within the heart space and those four directions: north, south, east, west, heaven and earth, masculine and feminine, all coming in together into the heart space. Okay. What else do we got? Wow. Okay. Those flipped. I guess we're taking those. Wow. Okay. Am I supposed to get one more? Okay. Whoa. Okay. So the masculines have made this many paths that just came up. They have made that decision to align with that highest timeline. They're just in the process of cleaning up some of these other paths, just like we spoke about. As they're embodying into that magician, sorcerer, higher self, magical essence, and they're learning how to embody it, and they're going through their healing process. This is allowing themselves to pull out those thorns, to pull out those swords, to pull out those burdens. But it's important, the masculines are wanting to do this in a very gentle and kind manner. So, because of that, it's this essence of it's going to take a bit of time because he's doing it with honor and integrity, my loves. So please honor and give the masculines that space and grace to be able to move through these energies of transformation in these very beautiful and honorable ways. As they take this space to go through this process, again, they will also be building incredible muscle. This process is going to support the masculines within emotional fortitude in a way that they have not experienced yet in this lifetime. And it is going, what I'm sensing as I say that is it might be a little bit weird at first, but what I'm sensing is that it's going to actually be exceedingly liberating for the masculines to not only be able to experience and feel their emotions, but to be able to do so in a very harmonious and balanced way, a way that is going to allow them to move into that full capacity and to move into this embodiment of their full true essence into physical form in a balanced way. So I do feel that although their emotional process may not look the same as the feminines, of course, there is a very huge liberation energy that's wanting to come through to support the masculines in being able to process and experience their emotional truth in an entirely new way. And in fact, realizing that their true emotions are a big, huge portion of their true power. And as they learn how to wield their true emotional power. This is actually going to naturally bring that intuition online. This is actually a huge bridge for the masculines when we've spoke so many times about them connecting to their higher selves and that internal feminine essence. But this is the first time in quite some time that I can remember where it has been so much at the forefront that the masculines are going to be going through an emotional process that is going to support them into a comfort level with experiencing their emotions versus running, walling, freezing, or denying their truth. Again, this is going to occur during this process of unraveling those experiences, relationships, and ways that their energy is being used that isn't in alignment as they retrieve their own essence and unbind themselves from these burdens. They're going to be able to feel comfortable. Oh my gosh. I felt just saying that right there as they're going to feel such a sense of relief. And what is coming through is that many of the masculines actually chose to take on these burdens as a way to avoid the emotional experiences they were having and that they did not know how to process at the time. But what's happening is now it has all become a burden because the emotions are actually bleeding through on top of all of the burdens that they took on and all of the things that they put on their plate to avoid the emotions are now sort of springing leaks emotionally, is what I'm being shown in the higher levels in my mind's eye, is that the emotions can no longer be stifled and held back. And there's sort of going to be this flood of realization that like the dam of emotion is going to break, which is going to allow the unraveling of the essences that are not meant to be present and also pave the path for the masculine to tune more clearly into his true path and his higher intuition. Okay. This is, wow, some unexpected essences and energies around that emotional fortitude essence that's coming in. I'm sure we will be connecting deeper into this very soon. And I hope you enjoyed this. Of course, I would love to hear from you. I know many of the feminines here have also been confirming with experiences that their masculines have been experiencing as well. And I appreciate your confirmation and reciprocity here on the channel. All right. To all of you, thank you so much for your presence here. And to the sacred masculines, I hope that you're feeling the deep levels of camaraderie and support here on Harmonious Hearts. And for everyone, have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will see you very soon. Bye.